Earning trust is something we will harp on over and again. It's the number one thing that must be created before someone buys from you. Trust matters because the more someone trusts you, the easier it will be for them to do what you tell them to do. You, of course, have their greatest benefit at heart, so it behooves them to listen to you. Amateurs earn trust accidentally and incidentally. They show up as they always have, and as a result, certain people trust them a ton, certain people don't trust them at all, and the rest of the people just trust them more or less. Professionals earn trust on purpose. Earning trust on purpose requires attention to 4 pillars: propriety, commonality, credibility, and intent. Having high propriety means owning the part. Walking, talking, acting, smelling, and appearing as the kind of person who would be earning an excellent income solving high-level musculoskeletal and metabolic problems for people. How did you choose to get dressed this morning? Are you groomed, clean, looking rested and enthusiastic? Are you leaning against the counter with a cup of coffee in your hand, or are you standing with great posture, program in hand, ready to greet people energetically for the best $4,000 they've ever spent? If you walked into the doctor's office, how would you expect them to present? If the doctor had a baggy, stained t-shirt on and smelled like whiskey, how would that affect your trust? Beyond work, if you get severely intoxicated on a Friday night and either embarrass yourself publicly or show up looking and smelling like a distillery the next day, how would that affect your client's trust? What are the chances a potentially new member will want to follow you to higher levels of health and wellness based on that encounter? Commonality is the demonstration of relatability between you and your client, often in ways that might not be expected. This can include similar histories, struggles, goals, and interests. Everyone in the world wants to be seen, heard, and understood, and people want to be around 2 types of people most of the time: people they want to be like and people they are already like. This means that while you take the time to become a long-term role model for real behavior change, you can demonstrate how you're already alike in order for people to feel more safe and secure leaning into your friendship and leadership. How can you and your client, despite differences in skin color, age, sex, religious affiliation, political affiliation, and even socioeconomic background, find things in common? What values do you share? What interests do you share? What aspects of family life do you share? What recreation do you share? Foods, vacation, it doesn't matter. The more someone can find reflection in you, the more easily their head, heart, and gut will open to your influence. That's what we're here for. The most powerful and meaningful way to demonstrate credibility is to deliver results for people. Short of that, credibility is demonstrated by asking relevant questions, making relevant observations, and taking appropriate action in the direction of a client's benefit. It means being excellent, and when you don't know something, it means sharing that with honesty and professionalism. For example, credibility does not mean elaborating on the fibers of the shoulder capsule beyond what's absolutely necessary for your client to understand in order to show them how much you know, or using lots of jargon. This goes over your client's head and makes them feel disconnected. 9 out of 10 people want to know the necessary information required for them to make progress, and not too much more. 1 out of 10 will want to know a lot of details. Oblige them. Credibility can be demonstrated in both conversation and action by examining your client and revealing relevant information that will benefit them. The other side of credibility, when you don't know something, is equally important. It's easy to pretend you know something, to protect your image and reputation. But you lose trust when you focus on appearing as though you know something that you don't. It demonstrates that your client's money and your ego are more important than your client's outcomes. When something comes up beyond your understanding, responding with, "I'll be honest, I have some ideas, but I don't want to give you a BS answer. I'm going to consult with some colleagues that I believe will understand this better than I do, and I'm going to get back to you with a much better answer by tomorrow at the latest." Does that sound fair enough? Any client will appreciate this immensely because you're demonstrating you're prioritizing their outcomes over their money or your image. The last pillar of earning trust on purpose is your intent. Your intent largely boils down to your why. Who are you doing this for, and to what end? Another way to frame your intent is your self-orientation. How much of what you're doing is for your benefit as priority over your clients? How much of why you're doing what you're doing is about you versus your client? There's a secret about intent. For the most part, everyone can smell it. Humans are poor predictors of the weather and stock market. But we are very reliably good at sniffing out other humans' intent. Every time you've gotten a bad feeling about someone and either wanted to move away from them, walk on the other side of the street, avoid entering an elevator, or decide not to do business with them, you can relate to the indescribable feeling that someone had poor intent. If you forget that you exist when talking with a client and focus all of your energy on your client's greatest interest and outcomes, they will feel it. They will know you're focusing on them. They will know you care about them, and they will feel called to support you with their money if you consistently demonstrate your care and work to solve their problems.